three Tory ex-Home Secretaries have warned against politicising anti-extremism. We're going to read into this exclusive from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Regan Lee here with an exclusive from The Guardian with the headline that three Tory ex-Home Secretaries have warned against politicising anti-extremism. The exclusive reveals the intervention by Priti Patel, Sajid Javid and Amber Rudd just before Michael Gove unveils his official definition of extremism. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So before we read into it, guys, I'm just giving my initial thoughts. So I haven't really directly commented on this politicising change on anti-extremism, and I really don't like it because there's not a clear answer on the definitions of extremism and anti-extremism. There's not a very clear picture here, and I feel like that they are opening up. I feel like that they're trying to open up a dangerous wounds here, and it just feels like to me that this is their way of stoking even more culture wars, some more distractions for the whenever the general election is going to be called. I just feel like that this whole extremism sort of thing. I honestly don't know who exactly they're pointing these to and targeting to. I really don't. And I don't understand why they need to change the definitions either. I really don't understand the benefit, the reasons for it, and I feel like the only conclusion that I can come up is to stoke these culture wars, to stoke tension amongst us, to have us fighting amongst one another over simple words or phrases between one another, to drive people apart from each other. To have people rather than us talking about the economy being in a recession, our NHS crumbling, our schools faltering, our police out of control, our police losing control of the streets, just among a few other things, as well as immigration out of control. I just feel like this is all done to basically stoke unnecessary tension. And I'm not even sure how the police are supposed to respond to these as well, because even the police have had so much new powers given to them by the government. I just feel like they're looking for any and all reasons to crack down on peaceful protesting. And that's how it seems to come across to me. And that's the thing. Who are they targeting? Who are they targeting exactly? This is what I don't understand. This man right here, Michael Gove, he's just absolutely does not make any sense to me, this man. And the fact that you've even got three Tory ex-Home Secretaries are saying that this is not a good idea as well. That says a lot as well. It really does. Like Priti Patel, Sajid Javid and Amber Rudd. Like, yeah, it's pretty bonkers, guys. So leading terrorist and extremist experts, including three former Conservative Home Secretaries, have warned senior politicians against using extremism to score political points as the Community Secretary Michael Gove prepares to announce his controversial new anti-extremism plan. Priti Patel, Sajid Javid and Amber Rudd are among a dozen signatories to a joint statement warning about the risk of politicising anti-extremism just days before the Community Secretary unveils the proposal. So it's entirely possible it may be unveiled by the time you see this, guys. Others who signed the statement including Brendan Cox, the widower of the MP Joe Cox and founder of Survivors Against Terror, Neil Bascu, the former head of counter-terrorism policing, and Richard Damon, the former chief of the General Staff. The warning comes days before Michael Gove is set to publish the government's new official definition of extremism, which critics say will be so broad that it risks exacerbating community tensions and leaving ministers open to legal challenges. The statement said, in the run-up to the general election, it's particularly important that these consensus is maintained and that no political party uses the issue to seek short-term tactical advantage. We urge the Labour government, Labour Party and the Conservative Party to work together to build a shared understanding of extremism and a strategy to prevent it that it can stand the test of time no matter which party wins the election. Patel told The Guardian it's really important that we do not malign the wrong people through the wrong definitions. We haven't seen anything yet from the government, but it is easy. We have seen historically to hide behind labels and definitions which sometimes end up being counterproductive. None of this should ever be political. It has to strike the right balance between free speech and how we bring communities together. Her warning was echoed by Jonathan Hall, the government's independent reviewer on terrorism legislation. Hall did not sign the statement but told The Guardian the proposed definition of extremism is very loose. It's not being debated in Parliament and it's effectively is a government label. The distinction from the way we deal with terrorism couldn't be clearer. It's not even being debated in Parliament. You're not even debating it in Parliament. Wow. Gove's new definition of extremism will classify individual or groups as extremists if they seek to undermine Britain's system of liberal democracy. Like, what is the definition of it? Like, someone's gonna just try and explain it to me, break it down to me in the chat, because I still don't understand why they're doing this. The Community Secretary is set to instruct measures and officials to cut off contact with groups or individuals who breach the new definition, and local authorities who are expected to follow suit. Gove told the Sunday Telegraph this weekend that we seek to defy extremism less by the actions of groups under scrutiny than of the underlying ideology. The definition will give practitioners more specifically on the ideologies, behaviour and groups to concern to support vital counter-radicalisation work, he said. Radicalisation? Oh my God, what is wrong with this people? What is wrong with these people? Just leave it! Culture war, guys. This is all culture war stuff. This is all culture war to distract us. That's what all this is. Gove has sought to prevent the new strategy in the light of the protests that have gripped the country since October 7th attack by Hamas and the subsequent Israeli assault on Gaza. He singled out pro-Palestinian protesters for criticism in an interview with the Sunday Telegraph, focusing attention particularly on those who used the slogan "From the river to the sea." Let's be clear, there is a difference between a cry for peace and a legitimization of an extremist position which intimidates and leads to hate, he said. Do you even... The definition of that term is different to many different cultures and that. I'm not going to... I don't need to... You know, if you really want to understand what that term is, you know, you can't just take from one perspective. You have to take from different perspectives on what that term really means. So either Gove does not understand that, or he's choosing not to understand that. Earlier this month, the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak gave a speech outside Downing Street in which he warned that there was a forces here at home trying to tear us apart. Yeah, it's called the Russians, who have who keep sending your party lots of money and have assets all over London. They're called the Russians. You didn't know that, yeah. Rishi Sunak's forgetting that. The Labour leader Keir Starmer endorsed Sunak's comments, saying the Prime Minister is right to advocate unity and to condemn the unacceptable intimidation behaviour that we've seen recently. However, Hall has warned against focusing on ideology rather than action. The proposed policy is about ideology, he said, though a lot of respected scholars and thinkers would say you go after action because ultimately what matters is someone acts violently or encourages violence. The Observer reveals on Sunday that senior figures inside the government had warned Gove against pushing ahead with these plans to announce the new definition without consulting community groups or faith leaders. Look, you're not even talking to community groups or faith leaders about this. How bloody stupid are you? You're not going to debate in Commons. You're not even going to talk to the people that it's going to deeply affect. Like, you can tell just how bloody pathetic this is. So you're not even going to consult with communities as well. An internal briefing paper admitted that doing so would lead the government of greater risk of legal challenge, while others in government believe Gove is rushing out the proposals in the hope of damaging Labour ahead of a general election campaign. That's exactly what it is. That's how I see it. I see it nothing more than an attempt yet just to stoke up more culture war ahead of the general election when it's called. Cox, whose wife Jo was murdered in 2016 by far-right extremists, told The Guardian, "Whatever the temptations, you can't play politics around this. Trying to the election timetable is the wrong approach. The government has announced more than £170 million will be used to protect mosques, Muslim schools and community centres from hate attacks over the next 4 years. That's good. I've got no problem with that, just to protect the Jewish communities and whatnot. James Cleverly, the Home Secretary, said the money which could be spent on measures including CCTV cameras, alarms and fencing will give reassurances and confidence to UK Muslims. The announcement follows a £70 million package for Jewish groups and comes in response to concerns that the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza is fueling division in the UK. As Gove prepares to release his plans, he's been hit by the news that Faiz Mogul, the founder of anti-Islamophobia project Tal Mama, will not become the new anti-Muslim hatred leader. Mullen was due to be unveiled in his new role on Monday, but told The Guardian on Sunday he had decided not to accept after receiving abuse online from extremist groups. He denied a report that he had been blocked by Downing Street amid accusations he previously suppressed a review of the Conservative Party's links with far-right groups. A government spokesperson said, "We are taking action to ensure no extreme organisations or individuals are being given a platform by their actions and interactions with government, and we will set out further details shortly." So this is this last bit at the bottom here. This is the letter in full. Keeping citizens safe is first responsibility of government, so dealing with extremism is essential given the real threats of Islamic extremists, far-right extremists and others. It requires as broad a consensus as possible if we are to be successful in marginalising it and defeating it. In the run-up to a general election, it is particularly important that consensus is maintained and that no political party uses the issue to seek short-term tactical advantage. We urge the Labour Party and Conservative Party to work together to build a shared understanding of extremism and a strategy to prevent that it can stand the test of time, no matter which party wins an election. Our country is the most effective in tackling extremism when it's does it together. And these are all the signatories here at the bottom for those you can see who have signed the letter, guys. It's so unthought out in any way, shape, or form. No thought process whatsoever. It's for me. This is nothing more than to stoke more culture wars and division. That's what this is all about, guys. This is what it is. You really, really need to not buy into this. Okay. The fact, and it literally states there, he's not consulted any communities or any faith leaders in any way, shape, or form. If you're going to be changing something like this, the least you're going to be doing is at least discussing it, and with them at least. You're not even going to have consults and debates in Parliament about this. This tells you everything you need to know, guys. This tells you everything you need to know about this Conservative government. Yeah? This is nothing more than to stoke unnecessary tension and hatred. That's what this is. Yeah, and I really urge people not to fall for this. Really don't. I understand that. I really hope that if Labour do come in and win the next general election, that if they look to any way changing this in any way, shape, or form, that they do it with consensus and with communities, with faith leaders, and with all the right people in order to give it the best context of what defied the word extremism. Well, what do you guys make of this? What do you guys make of Michael Gove's plans? What do you make of anti-extremism? What are your thoughts on it? How do you feel knowing that there's not even going to be consultations about all this? Let me know your thoughts about it all in the comments section down below. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.